Welcome ECRM attendees. I'm excited to join you today to talk through Brightfield Group's most recent study into the wellness category and what's next in wellness. My name is Kate Stevenson, and like I said, I'm with Brightfield Group. We're a leading market research firm in the wellness and emerging market space. So a little bit about Brightfield Group. So like I said, we're a market research firm and we specialize in emerging markets. We got our start with CBD and cannabis a few years back and have since kind of expanded our offerings into the general wellness category. We use a lot of different data sources, including our AI and social listening capabilities, as well as consumer research into various fields to really identify kind of what consumers are looking for and trying to treat for through their product usage. So the data that I'm going to be presenting from today is part of our Evergy platform, which is a dedicated resource for emerging wellness products. The data that is being reported out here is based on a consumer survey of 5,000 US consumers ages 21 and over that was fielded in December 2020. We're also pulling information from our social listening capabilities about wellness. So we use Twitter and Instagram to source those conversations and apply machine learning and natural language processing capabilities to really segment up what those consumers are talking about and identify the different patterns that we see emerge in that data. So just to get a feel and start out here about kind of what need states approach means and why that's important for companies to consider when they're developing their products. So from our data, we know that many consumers are looking to fulfill different need states through their product usage. So among those need states, the top need states for Americans are the need for sustainability, the need for community connection, so feeling connected through their product usage with other communities that are important to them, the need to relax, and we'll get a little bit more into this need state in particular and how important it is for Americans, not only now in COVID, but even generally. Focus, exercise, immunity, and so forth are also very important need states to our consumers that we've talked through. And you can see that kind of emulated through different products that are on the market today through, from a sustainability standpoint, you see a lot of focus on reducing waste and providing options for consumers to really shop smartly and reduce their carbon footprint. From a community connection point of view, we also see different products emerge that really emphasize the connection that they have to specific communities, such as this Black Girl Magic Rosé that was produced by a Black woman-owned winery. And then we see other kind of focuses on different communities as well through different product usage. We also know that there are many different, patterns throughout the day and different need states that are at play for our consumers. So, consumers report being, most sluggish and tired and depleted kind of in the afternoon, and looking for motivation and energy throughout the afternoon and evening as well. So really understanding kind of what they're experiencing throughout the day can give companies and brands a good opportunity to meet those consumers throughout the day with different options to treat for those different need states. We also know that Americans are very stressed. So in our survey, 56% of Americans said that they are often anxious and stressed out, and 33% of those rated their stress levels at a 4 or 5 out of 5 for the last week. So the stress is really a constant struggle for these consumers, and those reasons for stress include a variety of things, such as the ongoing pandemic, money issues, the news, work, and lack of sleep. So all of those things kind of working in tandem and are not necessarily going away anytime soon, that will lead to kind of Americans continuing stress issues. We also know that this can change a little bit according to who we talk about. So when we talk about, for instance, baby boomers, they tend to be even more stressed about the pandemic, as well as more stressed about kind of the news and what's happening in the world overall. When we talk about millennials, for instance, they're really reporting higher stress levels about work and money. So sometimes these stressors can change according to who we're talking about, but the fact remains that the high levels of stress are are impacting many different groups. And then we also know that there are differences in terms of top need states from a gender perspective. So we see that, men are more focused on some of these physical type of need states like exercise and energy, athletic performance, while women really have more of a concentration in some of these more kind of cognitive issues, so such as relaxation, focus, and immunity. So really kind of understanding, how those different groups approach their needs can definitely help in your product development and marketing. So let's take a deeper dive into some of these specific need states, such as immunity and relaxation. So when we talk about immunity, we see that there's definitely a good distribution of immunity-centered consumers throughout different age groups and income levels. So shoppers of all ages really are considering immunity and looking for products that can treat for immunity. We also see kind of a spike in the desire to treat for immunity in more of a holistic manner. So we see a lot of consumers looking for those immunity boosting ingredients such as vitamin C and D and elderberry really throughout kind of the products that they're using. So whether it be by a supplement format or incorporated into their food and beverages that they are consuming, they're really looking for, those holistic kind of approaches to build up their immunity. We also see just from a general, lifestyle approach that these consumers who are immunity focused are engaging in regular exercise and really spending time outside in nature to try and attack that need state from many different levels. And as you can see, the ages and the income levels are pretty well distributed with immunity consumers. So they tend to be pretty well distributed and tend to skew a little bit more female. But we also see kind of a good distribution overall. When we looked into our social listening capabilities at the immunity topic, we found a couple interesting emerging product categories in these conversations. So when consumers are talking about immunity in particular, we see that there are growth in a few different topics and product types. So premium smoothies being the first one that has a really high share of voice in the overall conversations, but is also growing at a pretty rapid rate. So understanding that, folks are looking for that immunity need state to be achieved through different things that they are purchasing in addition to kind of supplements and so forth. And then we also see a little bit of a focus on like honey and some, mainstream products such as like pickled goods and olives, which is kind of interesting that people consider that to be an immune boosting product choice. And then we also see kind of those traditional vitamins and supplements that they're using, such as magnesium, B12, and vitamin D, really still have a place in the immunity need state decision. Diving into relaxation as a need state here. So we really know just based on our survey how many consumers are suffering from stress and anxiety, that relaxation is a big focus for consumers as they consider their different products that they're consuming throughout the day and how that might be able to help relieve any anxiety and stress. So we saw in terms of relaxation, this is a really key need state with that millennial and Generation X consumer group. So they're really busy kind of balancing work and family. We also see that there's, a lot of focus on the emergence of kind of functional beverages and foods that incorporate adaptogens and CBD that help these consumers reduce that anxiety. Our stress to the max consumer group, which is one of our largest personas, definitely kind of use different product types, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but to treat for their kind of anxiety and stress levels. As we look into the social media information, of those products that consumers are turning to treat for relaxation, we see the emergence of obviously wine and kind of alcoholic beverages and so forth are always pretty standard in terms of what consumers turn to try and treat for different anxiety and stress, but we also see things like CBD and sparkling waters, nut milk and things like that, that might not be the first, product that you think of that treats for kind of relaxation and anxiety. And just a deeper dive into kind of some of the product types that consumers are using to relax. We saw in our survey data that, consumers are really turning to different vitamins and, green teas and healthier options, but they still have a very good, mix of products from the vice category, like wine and cigarettes and so forth. So really a large range of products. There's so many products that consumers see as treating for their relaxation need. So let's talk a little bit more about how we can take this information about need states such as immunity and relaxation and really innovate to kind of meet those needs through product innovations. So diving into the need for brands to really identify your consumers' need states. So here we're just diving into our stress to the max consumer. So we know that of our sample of US consumers, 35% of them are stressed to the max personas in our data. They're more likely to be female. They over-index with lower income consumers, and they identify that the need states that they need are focus and relaxation. And like I said, there's a variety of products that consumers are looking to in order to kind of treat for that relaxation need state, such as in this particular persona group, many of them are turning to cigarettes and energy drinks, for instance, and sports drinks, but they're also, combining those more kind of vice products, if you will, with things like melatonin and vitamin enhanced waters, supplements and electrolyte waters and so forth to kind of treat for their stress. So the first step is really identifying who your core consumer is. So it might not be the stress to the max consumer, but there are definitely a variety of kind of consumer groups and the need states that are important to those consumers that are within your target group. The second step is really to identify the emerging trends and where there's opportunity to tie that to a need state centric innovation. So here we are looking at the overall functional ingredients that our sample reported purchasing in the last 3 months. So you'll see, a very big emphasis on mainstream kind of supplements like vitamin C and D and B12, but then we also see the emergence of some of these other areas like ginger and turmeric and ginseng. So up and coming kind of functional ingredients are really important to identify now so that you can tie those into your product innovation. When we talk about adaptogens as a subset of that functional ingredient category, we see, that specific adaptogens like ginger and turmeric, which are a little bit more mainstream, are definitely a little bit more popular there. But then we also see kind of some of these up and coming things like chaga mushroom and reishi mushrooms, holy basil, that are definitely worth kind of paying attention to and understanding the specific needs that those adaptogens fulfill for our consumer groups. And then just really taking that information in terms of what is innovative in terms of, products out there and ingredients and tie those to the specific need states that might be interesting to your target consumer group. So if we look at like apple cider vinegar, lowering blood sugar levels, that might be important if your target consumer is in kind of the baby boomer category that ranks heart health and blood sugar as a main concern of theirs while they're shopping for products, or ginger, lowering that cholesterol level, as well as kind of collagen, which is definitely a rising in popularity type of product that is boasts a variety of benefits, but among those, improving skin health and reducing joint pain, that really appeals to a wide variety of consumer groups. They're collagen's most popular with millennials at this point, but we see that there are definitely benefits for more aging populations and kind of addressing their needs as well. So lots of opportunity there. And then CBD, which we definitely see boasts benefits from an anxiety reducing standpoint, as well as improving things like sleep and relaxation overall, as well as, that appeals mostly, to millennials at this point, but we see a large rising population of kind of aging ailers and so forth using the CBD products to treat for different joint pain and things like that. And then green coffee extract, definitely something that we're seeing a lot more of recently that is touted to kind of boost energy and aid weight loss. So here are just some examples to get your wheels turning. If you do have products within kind of these that are using these different functional ingredients, really tying those to the different need states so that those consumer groups can help you resonate with retailers as well as, connect with your consumer groups more effectively. So let's just dive deeper in a couple examples here of how we would do that. So here we're talking a little bit about two pretty mainstream functional ingredients / adaptogens, turmeric and goji berry. So when we talk about turmeric, which is emerging, it seems to be in many different formats and, prized for its benefits of lowering brain disease and anti-inflammatory benefits. So we definitely see kind of a more baby boomer positioning with a lot of these products. So we see that baby boomers like it because of its anti-inflammatory benefits. It's definitely more established kind of in the market overall. So there might not be as much opportunity there, but if you are in the turmeric space, making sure to kind of speak to the fact that that turmeric resonates with this category of consumers that are baby boomers, Generation X, as well as kind of middle income, right? And then when we talk about goji berry, which is a little bit more of an emerging trend, so that really makes up 2.7% of our sample as goji berry consumers, but it's a little bit more well known than some of those other adaptogens that we talked about, like lion's mane and things like that. So definitely an opportunity to kind of explore here where it appeals to a little bit different of a group of consumers. So it really over indexes with millennials and Gen Xers, as well as high income consumers. So those consumers are definitely kind of the target group for goji berry products at this point in time. And also they like it for its, different benefits that are very wide ranging, both from an immune system support benefit to things like anti-aging is what many different goji berry products are positioned for. So these are just two examples that, you could either take a look at in terms of product development, or if you have these types of products in your portfolio already, really important to kind of understand who those consumers are as you approach these retailers, and how you can appeal to what their target consumer groups are. So just some key takeaways here. So understanding, obviously what your consumer need states are is very key in terms of developing new products that would appeal to them and really innovating in a real way. The wellness category is extremely large, so it's very important to kind of differentiate yourself through your ability to connect with consumers on a very personal level and provide the benefit that they're really looking for. And then also just providing ways to, connect with the consumer through product usage really gives you a little bit more of a leg up in terms of them building a valuable connection to your brand. So if they can use your products throughout the day and they really find that they're achieving different need states through their product usage, then they're more likely to kind of return to your brand and really think of you as part of their wellness routine overall. So thank you so much for joining us and talking through how need states are so central to both product development as well as kind of appealing to your core consumer groups. If you have any questions or want to take a look at the data in more detail, I'm happy to talk in more detail with you, and I look forward to any of your feedback and questions. Thank you.